Today I have a video about signs. Signs. You remember that really freaky alien movie? Yeah, that scarred me for life. Anyway, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about symbols, animals, numbers, anything that can come across your field and influence you to believe that something is either a good path or a bad path. Normally when we look for signs, it is because we have a hard time deciding something. And that is totally fine, that's completely okay. But there is a line that I think that it is very easy to go overboard and to really rely on something else rather than trusting yourself. My experience with signs was that at first I thought they were just so magical and this beautiful connection with the universe, and that is where I started to really rely on these signs and really look to see if I could find signs before I made a decision about anything, and it started to get to be a more unhealthy relationship. So I feel like reaching out for signs and constantly looking for that validation in us can make us feel untrustworthy of ourselves because we're constantly looking for something to tell us you're okay, you're doing fine, as if any mistake that we made would send us on a bad path and all of a sudden we are going to be in harm's way. It will lead you to believe that you deserve that punishment if you make a mistake, so you need to be constantly looking for signs that are telling you that you're doing good. Whew. The tradition of signs comes from older times where, they didn't have validation of certain things and they really needed to make sense of the reality around them. We have a lot more resources than they did back when they heavily relied on the animals to tell them certain things, or the signs of the weather. Signs that they created in their tribes were meant to be survival instincts, and those are not things that we really need so much anymore because we don't live in those types of situations. So taking these signs as validation for ourselves is what kind of transcended from using signs to tell us things about survival. And what we really would be more beneficial to us, in my opinion, is coming into the center, coming into ourselves and seeing and really listening. Why do we need to see these signs? The signs that appear to us that we understand are not because the signs are coming to us to tell us something. It is because we are resonating with what that meaning of that sign is. We are resonating with what we want it to tell us. So if I am going to make this big decision in my life and I want something to tell me that it's right, I just want something to tell me that I'm making the right decision, I have to also recognize that the reason that I'm looking for a good sign is because I want this for myself. What my purpose here in this video is not to discard anyone's beliefs. It is to bring about this idea that is really underrated, that you are your own master. You are your own guru. You are okay enough to be trusted. You are smart enough to be trusted. You are beautiful enough to be trusted in your decisions alone. And there is no need to be looking outside for something to validate that in you. You don't have to be extending yourself. What does this bird mean? Does this mean that I'm doing okay? Does it mean that I'm doing bad? Am I going to be punished? If you are looking for a bad sign, maybe that means that you don't really trust what's going on if you make that decision, or you're not feeling safe in making that decision, or you get a bad feeling about someone else. That is because you are having that feeling and it's resonating with what that sign means. So it is ultimately your perspective. We really need to be building more trust in ourselves and more love in ourselves before we go out externally looking for things to validate ourselves. This is a mental exercise that is going to help you trust yourself more. And that is something that we have to make mistakes and find, oh wow, I am not in danger if I make mistakes. I'm not going to be punished. My soul is not going to be put in this karma loop where tons of bad things happen to me. And if you find yourself panicking a little bit about looking for a sign, or if you just feel like you're indecisive and you need some kind of external force or object or numbers to make a decision for you, then write it down. Why do you think you want to see this sign? And describe why. And you might even find over time, while you're writing, that you uncover something that you weren't very sure of. The process of writing is really organizing our consciousness. So our matter and the thoughts are just very cluttered. And the reason why we feel so indecisive is because it is difficult to come back into center. And that's why we practice things like meditation and mindfulness, so that we can be more aware of ourselves. And that is the ultimate goal in this practice, to notice if you are taking signs a little too seriously, and can you trust yourself a little bit more. So take your journal and write these things out, and I think you'll find yourself very surprised with how trustworthy you can be, and what you find in yourself when you organize your consciousness. My main purpose of explaining this is to not let it overpower you. Don't let it make all of your decisions, and don't let it make you feel like you can't trust or console in yourself and in your own decision making. Take this with whatever meaning that you want. If it resonates with you, that's beautiful. If it doesn't, that's beautiful as well. Remember, trust yourself. You're the one making the decisions here. I am just simply the one to put out some ideas that I felt helped me and that I feel will help others. So I hope this is helpful for you, and see you next time. Good luck, everyone. Bye.